Hello there, Year 5. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to continue our special science studies. And last time we spoke about the solar system and that the Earth is one of the planets there. We also mentioned two of the neighboring planets right next to the Earth. One of them is Mars. What was the other one? Venus. Yeah. Now then, we are going to analyze the whole planet first. Let's see a physical map. So I would like you to check this map here with me. Please open your workbook as well on page 92. This is the workbook page where you can find a similar world map, a physical or relief map as well. Let's write there what we learned about the surface of the Earth throughout our studies in the junior section of the school. So using this special outline map, write all the continents and oceans there. So let's see, number 1 is North America. I'm going to show you this here and you can just copy the names. Second is South America. In between the Central America, but as I can see, it's not symbolized there on the map. Number 3 is gonna be, let's see, Africa. You can copy the name. Of course, you can always stop the video footage when it's a bit too fast and you can't write simultaneously, and then you can just write the name there. Number 4 is Europe. Number 5 there is Asia. You can see the name written here. Asia, good. And number 6 is Australia. Number 7, finally, the cold continent, Antarctica. The Arctic region is not a continent, don't forget that, please. That's just ice there. Greenland is the only exception, but that's not a continent. That's the biggest island on Earth. So Antarctica was the last one. The name is written here. And then let's see the oceans symbolized here. A is the Atlantic Ocean between the Americas and Africa and Europe. B is the Indian Ocean. C is the biggest ocean on Earth, the Pacific Ocean. If I could move these things around a bit, probably you could see the name there. So the name is written here in blue, Pacific Ocean. Yes. Next one is gonna be D, the Arctic Ocean. Let's see if I can move this map. Yeah, Arctic. So A-R-C-T-I-C. That's the Arctic Ocean. Okay, so far so good. Let's stop here now and let's see some more special things. If you check this map, you can see that it's actually not just the continents and oceans, islands and other geographical features which are symbolized here, but also it's full of different lines. We are going to call these famous lines of latitudes. Nevezetes szélességi körök. Famous lines of latitudes. The most famous one, which you know well, is the equator. And the equator is right here in the middle. So maybe I'm going to choose this red color now, just to draw along. So this is the equator. Sorry, my line is far from being perfect, but I can't use a ruler or anything like it. And what is important here when you speak about the equator, egyenlítő, that they write here a 0 next to it, and even they symbolize that it's degree, fok. Question, okay, why is it 0? And why do we need an equator when it's not really on the Earth? I mean, it's just a kind of help for some people who can use this special coordinate system. For example, people who work on ships and boats, they can use it. Or when it comes to flying, pilots can use this special kind of line system. So this is why we have this. But why 0 degree? If I also draw here a vertical line, So let's draw this one, the prime meridian. Yeah, actually this angle here is a right angle. This is how they symbolize this in England. This is 90 degrees, but we write the 90, I mean the number 90, right at the top there. So if this is 90 degrees there, of course the equator with itself cannot form an angle, so this is why it's 0. So hopefully it can be understood a bit if I just write these numbers there. Okay, what about the next famous identified line? The next one is the Tropic of Cancer. The name is written here, and they symbolize it usually by using these broken lines. Now I'm not going to draw all along, just I'm going to write here the angle. This is 23.5 degrees. Oh, sorry about this. It's a bit hard to write by using this system. And the next famous identified line is going to be the Arctic Circle. The name is written here. And here the angle is 66.5 degrees. 0.5 degrees. So where can you see these angles? So the 0 is the equator, cannot form an angle with itself, but this 23.5 degrees is like this. So this angle is that, this one. And the 66.5 degrees is this one. So this is that angle. And we spoke about the right angle, the 90 degrees, and this is why we write it there. And of course, there are the two poles in the North Pole, in the South Pole. Now, I want you to be really good at this. So you need to write these down in your exercise book as well. So I'm gonna show you my iPad screen and we are going to work together. So please open your exercise book now. And we are going to write the title in a second. Because we are speaking about the Earth. More than 70% of it is water. This is why I chose blue background color today. So the title is Famous Lines of Altitude. And the date is, let's see, 27th April. So we are going to have the Earth drawn here. Please draw a relatively big circle. We are going to draw there all the famous lines of latitudes. First one, the equator, 0 degree, and the name is Equator. Then comes the next one at 23.5 degrees. This is called Tropic of Cancer, ráktérítő. The name comes from that actually the sun is at a position of the Cancer star constellation when there are certain special astronomical happenings in the sky. We can learn about these later on, but now this is not that important. The word tropical comes from the word tropic. So Tropic of Cancer is the name. The next one is 66.5 at 66.5 degrees. The Arctic Circle. I'm trying to write it here on the side. Arctic Circle. And finally, at 90 degrees, the North Pole. North Pole. In the south, the whole thing is kind of repeated. So again, there's the 23.5 degrees angle, which is another tropic, but it's not the Tropic of Cancer, it's the Tropic of Capricorn. Baktérítő. And then the Antarctic Circle. Antarctic Circle. And refers to the fact that it's opposite the Arctic Circle at 66.5 degrees. You can write the number on the other side, just I had kind of more space here. And then 90 degrees, and this is the South Pole. Okay, so these are the famous identified lines or famous lines of latitudes, nevezetes szélességi körök. But now we are going to continue with something different. I'm just going to clear this whole thing, and you can just draw one more Earth. And this time we can just use all the special lines we had: the Equator, Tropic of Cancer, Arctic Circle, and the Tropic of Capricorn, and the Antarctic Circle. Now we are going to analyze something special. I'm going to draw here the sun. The sun is much bigger than the Earth. The Earth could be placed here on the diameter of the sun 110 times. So now it's easier to imagine how big the sun is. So this giant gas ball radiates energy towards the Earth, and the sun rays hit the Earth everywhere on its surface. Let's see the differences here. To understand it a bit more, I would like to add two more mini drawings. Let's imagine that it's summertime and you can go fishing, and you get up very early because, as I know, fish are hungry in the morning. So the sun just comes up. This is the sun, and look, the sun rays can hit the surface of the Earth at this really narrow little angle. What is the temperature like, even in summer, when it's early in the morning, at dawn, yeah, hajnalban? Probably not that hot. So we can say that it's like, let's say, 17 degrees centigrade. Then what about, so this is the sun here, not a hill, this is the sun. What about that thing when we go home in summer and then the sun is shining? It's a summer day, and then the sun rays are here. Now this angle is much bigger, and it's not 17 degrees, of course. It must be much hotter during the day, the midday period. So let's say 32 degrees. So can you see the difference? There's this very little angle here, cold temperature. There's this much bigger angle, hot temperature. The same is repeated on the Earth. When the angle of the sun rays is kind of big, almost like a right angle, so I could even draw this symbol here, 90 degrees. This zone is the hot zone in the middle of the Earth, and the hot zone has a name, tropical zone, trópusi éghajlati öv, tropical, because it's usually hot here in this zone. It's the tropical climate zone. But here, if we go to the north, the northern hemisphere, the angle is getting smaller and smaller, just like in the south. The angle is getting smaller, and finally at the poles, it's really small. What did the small angle mean here when we drew this picture? Colder temperatures. So this is why we call the really cold zones on the Earth polar zones. hideg éghajlati öv. Polar, polar. Small angles, cold temperature. And what is in between? Not too cold, not too hot, or there are cold seasons and hotter seasons. The name is temperate zone, mérsékelt öv. Temperate zones. Temperate climate zone. That's what you can also say. Temperate climate zone. So these are the solar climate zones, the climate zones created by the sun. So we can write this as a second title. And why did we do all this? Because this whole thing is actually in your workbook as well. So I want you to write these things down in your exercise book, but after that, please open your workbook at page 92. And when you finished writing there the names of continents and oceans, please have a look at this second task with first, you can see there the names of the famous lines of latitudes. And then, so you can write here all what we learned: Equator, Tropic of Cancer, Arctic Circle, yeah, in the south, Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle. After this, please turn to page 101 and write here this time the names of the climate zones. So you are not writing here the famous lines of latitude, but just the names of the climate zones. Tropical zone, temperate zone, polar zone, and then the whole thing is repeated in the south as well. So I hope you could use my special drawings and the map which I showed to you. And I would like you to finish these 3 tasks. So on page 92, task 2 and 3, page 101, task 3. Here you can color even the different zones. The polar zone is usually colored blue, the tropical one red, and in between this can be yellowish in color. So when you finished all this, then we could cover all the things I wanted you to do on the Monday science class. Please take a photo of your work and send me this in an email, and then we can discuss the details later on. Keep up good work. Bye-bye.